What is up, scarers, terrors, and gay hat wearers? Thanks for sitting down at the Messy Nuts with me this week. Today, I don't know, man. Can we just vibe? Enough of the high intensity, enough of the go, 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 always productive, always smart and perfect. You know, I know that's the standard I've set with my videos. They're all perfect. There's not a problem with any of them. They're all super informative, helpful, not at all redundant. Let's take a step back from that. Let's go back to my roots, where I don't make any effort to be watchable or likable or really any effort at all. And can we just vibe? Between you and me, let's just hang out, you know? I got a lot of stuff on my mind. I got a lot going on. It's baseball season, you know? Getting down to September, watching some of these baseball rules fly. I hardly got time to think about anything like music. And so rather than provide you with some sort of tutorial or interesting thing that I found on the Octatrack, I'm just going to show you a little beat I made, talk a little bit about it, and maybe we can just talk about rugby or some shit. I watched my first game recently, and have you guys watched rugby before? It's pretty crazy. Who lets them do that stuff? I don't think it should be legal. Did they check in with the local law before they started doing that? Because it doesn't seem legal to me what they're doing. It's just a collection of absolute units completely demolishing each other for 90 minutes, and it's great. I don't know what's going on. I don't understand the rules. It's a little bit like football, the kind you throw with your hand if you're a dumb American, not the kind what you play with your feet in the rest of the world. But it's quite compelling. I'm eager to keep watching the big angry man sport and try to learn what exactly they're doing when they kick the ball so far. You might be wondering, Octodad, why did you suddenly start watching rugby? Well, a long-term goal of mine, if you know me, is to get the hell out of this country and take my family with me. And you might look at me and go, well, Octodad, why would you want to leave America? It's the greatest country on earth. You got baseball, you got football, the kind what you throw with your hands and not with your feet like those communist other states, and hot dogs. Why would you ever leave? And, I got to level with you. I'm going to miss all of those things, especially the baseball. But I'm a little worried. I'm a lot worried about my children being gunned down in their classrooms, or anybody I know and love being gunned down anytime they're anywhere. And you might think to yourself, Octodad, that's not a reasonable worry. That probably won't happen. But it actually statistically is a pretty reasonable worry. I'm worried about it. And also healthcare sucks. Paying for healthcare sucks, but and there's big trucks everywhere. So America, you're being put on check by me, Octodad. So let's be better, okay? Anyway, enough about me and my worries. I mean, there will be more of that in the video. It's all about me. But let's talk about this little beat I made. I actually sampled the score of a movie that Ricky and I watched recently called Pig, starring Nicolas Cage. And, a lot of people, they see Nicolas Cage's name attached to a film and they're like, oh, it's one of those direct-to-video things he's doing to get out of tax debt. It's probably horrible. This one, not the case. This is a real movie where he's being a real actor, doing acting, and it's very good. I don't want to tell you too much about it because it's a movie that is best seen blind. Not literally blind, as in your eyes don't work, because I don't know how that practically would work, but blind like you don't know anything about it going in. All you need to know is that Nick Cage, he has a pig. And he loves that dang thing. But then, someone take the pig. And let me tell you, Nicolas Cage is none too happy that someone took his dang pig. And that's the movie. And it's really, really fantastic. And you absolutely should watch it. Maybe I'll do a flipping film on it someday. But today, I'm too lazy to edit that kind of video. So we're just going to talk about the part of the score that I sampled and what I did. It's actually one of the first tracks in quite some time that I felt anything about. It's a low bar because I've only felt pretty bad about most of the stuff I've done this past calendar year. But this one was one of those rare instances where things just kind of came together and worked. And when you're in a little mental downspin like myself, things coming together and working, especially musically and creatively, chef's kiss. 10 out of 10 would beg for that to happen. Again, please, just even a drop of inspiration would be nice. But anyway, enough of my kvetching. Let's talk about what I sampled. So I sampled the main part of the score. It was the only part I could find on YouTube, and the music gods smiled nicely upon me because it was the part of the score that I wanted to sample any dang ways. So it sounds like this. It's really beautiful. Shout out to whoever did the score. I'm going to put their name right here. I didn't even mention that in the last flipping film, by the way. I probably should do that. I'm going to put it right here. I got myself into a pickle right away after I sampled that because it doesn't really have a resolution. The chord change doesn't. And so how do you structure kind of a satisfying resolution when there is none? Basically, the solution to this conundrum was to just lean into it. Don't have a resolution. I just jump between the first and third slices, and it actually ends up working out okay. And it sounds like this. I also sampled an additional part of the score, which I'll boost a little bit so you can see better, and it sounds like this. And I talk about this all the time on my channel. My favorite thing to do is to slice one part of the sample, which is very prominent and kind of front facing, you know, the thing that's going to be the most in your face, and then try to find an atmospheric part of the sample that you can slice and have as kind of like a background element. And so that's what I did with this. And I think that together it sounds quite nice. Let's listen to that real quick. Man, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I love that. I think that sounds fantastic. I think I pitched it down a fifth. Shout out to the person in the comments who told me that if you enter slice mode, that's when it turns into numbers. You're a godsend, and I love you. And I'll put a screenshot of your comment right here. I think there was a few of you. I'm going to put down an ambiguous number of fingers, and I'm going to put screenshots under this horrible thing you're looking at. Thank you for that. Yeah, I pitched it down a fifth. I think it sounds really nice, and it's very, I used this term, I think, in another video that I refer to as slumped, which is like, it just feels like you're kind of like this. You know, just, maybe not that. It just makes me feel like I'm slumped down in a chair, and I'm really sad. The Giants just lost to the 2021 Diamondbacks. They're 30-70, the Diamondbacks. We probably should have won that game. And, you know, even though we're the best team in baseball objectively, watching a performance like that, you gotta wonder how they're going to make it to the series. Yeah, that's how this song makes me feel. This is a just lost to the 2021 Arizona Diamondbacks type beat. Let's keep going. The rest of the beat is really simple, like it always is, because I don't like to try hard. I put a little snap here, which I pitched down 4 shimmy tones, and it sounds like this. Something I think I would change, which I'll do right now, is I want to filter out some of that low end. Let's do too much first. There we go. It's a little subtle, but there's a little too much low end in that snap, and it gets kind of muddy with some of the other low end frequencies we have, especially when you put a kick in there, which sounds like this. And you put in a little bass right here. I don't know if I really need to describe what's happening with the bass. It's a live sample that I've used 100 times. You've seen it in lots of videos before, and it's just finding a melody that works. So I did that, and then I did a little melody, which I bandpassed a live sample. I always say live sample. That's not what I mean. It's a sample of a synthesizer. It's just a sample of one note being played on a synthesizer. and I used that. What is that called? A sample? It's a sample. It sounds like this. I have LFOs on the pitch, on the panning, and on the filter width. Just to get a little movement in there. For those long sustained notes. There's some conditional triggers, so that these only happen a second time. Love that. I also have 2 trigless locks and a slide trig here, which basically, this note here keeps sustaining throughout here, and the second time around I wanted to just kind of fade out. It's not quite subtle enough for me. I could probably fine-tune it a little bit, but I was tired of trying to figure it out before I started this video, and so it's going to be imperfect. Just like me. Yeah, I think that's it. I think I didn't do anything else to achieve this little kind of pumping effect. I am simply doing a little bit of amplitude modulation on the master. If you do it with a lot of bit reduction, you get that kind of wavy, washy shh sound, which I enjoy quite a bit. It's nice and lo-fi. And yeah, contributes to that slumped losing to the Diamondbacks in 2021 type feeling, which, speaking of, I have 2 teams, okay? I mean, really, I like 8 teams because who gives a fuck? It's a fake sport about stickball. You should like any team you want for any reason. For instance, I like the Mariners because they're cute, and I like the color of their uniforms. I like the Chicago White Sox because their commentators are funny. That's an underrepresented thing in sports. You should get more funny commentators because holy shit, it can be dry. Anyway, my larger point is I have 2 main teams, the Gigantes and the Red Sox, because my family is from Boston. Both of them, the Giants and the Red Sox, have been in the top of the standings for most of the year, and the Red Sox are on a pretty bad slump right now. I think they've lost 5 in a row, and they lost to the Detroit Tigers, who, if you don't know anything about baseball, they're not good. So to lose to them is pretty rough. And, you know, there's that meme of the guy yelling in a girl's ear in a club and she just looks miserable. I'll put a picture of it here. And then there's also that meme of a guy with his arm around a girl in a baseball stadium or some sporting event. I'll put it here, where it's basically just like meant to represent mansplaining or just kind of annoying someone. And let me tell you that post-trade deadline, when I was talking to my wife about the Red Sox, I was both of those guys put together, maybe even worse. Do you ever have those moments where you talk too long about something and you don't realize that you've been talking too long about something until you've finished, and there's this sort of chasm in the air that sits there and is like, hey man, you probably shouldn't have talked that long. That was me. That was me talking about the Red Sox. Because here's the thing, man. Look, we need starting pitching. Okay? You need good pitchers to win baseball games, and if you don't have good pitchers, you need good offense. We do have the good offense. We don't have the good pitchers. Our bullpen is okay. We have pretty decent closers, pretty good closers, I would say, but our starting pitching is dog shit. Why are we relying on Martin Perez and Garrett Richards to get us to the World Series? They're not going to do that. We had a chance at the trade deadline to get Max Scherzer, but the fucking Dodgers got Max Scherzer, which I hate. I hate that happened. We could have got any number of starting pitchers that were up. Tyler Anderson, decent pitcher from Pittsburgh. He went to fucking Seattle, which I do like because, again, as I mentioned, they're cute and I like the color of their outfits. Which, side note, isn't it really funny how sports is all like toxic masculinity and like, ooh, a big, strong man, but then they just wear so many cute little outfits, especially in baseball. There's so many cute little outfits that they wear. Why are they acting all masculine? They're fragile as doves, man. They step the wrong way and they're out for the season. Anyway, my point is, the offense has been slumping. We got great hitters. Alex Verdugo, he's slumping, man, but he's been good. You got Xander Bogaerts, you got Raffy Devers, JD Martinez, Hunter Renfroe. That's a terrifying lineup. If they're hitting well, we're doing well. But we need starting pitching. And we need a first baseman because Bobby Dahlbeck is dog shit. Anyway, do you see? Do you see I'm doing to you what I did to my wife? And she has to live with me. So if you did watch all of that, God bless. I thank you. And if you're a Red Sox fan, what's up? Sound off in the comments. We are going to collapse this year. Yeah. You probably shouldn't have talked that long. enough talk about America's pastime. This is all the content I have for you today as far as content goes. If you have somehow watched all of this, thank you so much. You could have picked anybody on the internet to spend your time with this week, and for some reason, you chose me, a man rambling about baseball and his feelings. An American, at the end of the day. I will be back next week with some sort of content. I have no clue what it's going to be. I am flying by the seat of my proverbial pants, but I hope it'll be something fun and interesting for the whole family. Until then, I'm Daniel. This is The Messy Desk, and I love you more than I love being brutally honest for maybe way too long. I'll see you next week. Peace.